Siska fidgets with the phone's receiver, waiting impatiently for her call to be answered. Finally, the ringing stops. Someone picks up, but Siska hears only breathing.
Wilt, I
thought it'd be you.
Wilt, I'm sorry. I waited and waited.
Arno was a grown man. He made his choices. It has nothing to do with you or me.
I thought you'd be angry, or at least upset.
Once again, you've made the mistake of assuming I cared.
Arno told me about Passau, about what happened to you in the war. I know that you haven't always been cold, like now.
A lot can happen in a few years, kid. I bet you think you'll never end up like me.
At first, I thought you seemed like a selfish man, but now I know that's not true. Selfish people at least care about themselves. Even that is more than you're capable of. Arno was different. Despite everything, I think he still needed to care about something.
That a fact? How'd that work out for him? Was it worth it? Did it achieve anything? Randane are stronger than ever. Even without Ignace, they've got complete control of the city. Now they've secured an exclusive contract to manage the city's security. The municipal police have been disbanded. There are Randane guards on every corner.
That's why we need your help. Moritz has agreed to join us too. Destroying machines is not enough. Help us to strike at those that control them.
But the connection goes dead before Siska can finish. The streets are deserted but for the prowl of slick-heeled soldiers. Their uniforms are without official insignias. Siska knows they're agents of Randane's quest power. Notices have been posted along the wall, their message simple but stern. Security notice. Observe full curfews outside prescribed hours. These measures are in place to safeguard resident populations. Your security is paramount. The footnote reads, this guidance has been jointly issued by the Office for Cooperation Management and the Initiative for Citizen Behavioral Retraining.
They'll never win.
Thank you for agreeing to come. Are you sure you want to be here?
There's nowhere else for me to be.
We're going to Rendain's propaganda office. It's heavily guarded, but I think it's our best chance of finding Thorvik. I need to know you're committed to this.
Siska, I spent years hating Ignace for what he did to my father, for what he did to my family. I thought that if I could somehow ruin him, then things would be different. Now he's gone and things are even worse. I hate them all. Those that sweep us aside like ants. Let me help you get rid of them.
What did Ignaz do to your father?
Nothing out of the ordinary, I suppose. He just did his job. My father served him as a clerk in the town hall for 24 years. But when he became sick and couldn't serve any longer, Minister Reel had very little sympathy. My father couldn't work, so we couldn't afford his medicines. We asked Ignaz for help many times, but received nothing. My father was buried that autumn. Afterwards, we got a letter of condolence from Ignaz's office, full of false sympathy and understanding, offering me the same post which my father had vacated. Now Ignace is gone, but they still treat people like dirt. Last week they removed all the former clerks and replaced them with Randane's associates.
I'm sorry to hear that. Let's get moving. The main entrance of the propaganda offices is heavily guarded. It will be safer to get in via the roof. We can reach it through the old opera house next to the offices.
Okay, I'll scout ahead. The guards don't know my face, so I'll be able to move freely until we reach the offices.
A canvas banner hangs above the opera house doors, bearing a large capital R and a flowering black rose whose roots twist around a bloody red heart.
Be careful, there may be guards in here. Randane used this building to rehearse their rallies and speeches. Let's find a way onto the roof. What is it?
I'm not your servant.
What is it?
The carpeting of the Opera House corridors muffles the sound of Siska and Moritz's boot heels. Intricately gilded covings bespeak bygone wealth. Stately sycamore paneling insulates the interior from the smells and sounds of the streets outside.
They'll never win.
I'm not your servant.
They'll never win.
We don't have much time. There is no way to access the roof. No ladders, no stairs, nothing.
Siska doesn't appear to be listening. She cranes her neck towards the ceiling, tracing the line of rope hanging from the roof of the backstage service area.
Maybe we can use the stage pulley system. The motor doesn't look powerful enough to lift a person on its own, but if we counterbalance it by using our body weight, we could use it like a lift to get onto the roof.
Moritz studies the ropes and pulleys, squinting with the effort of deciphering the system's workings, and spots a bank of controls to one side of the stage. Moritz tests a lever to no effect. He opens the power cabinet underneath for a look at the wires.
The mains power is disconnected. We'll need to find the main fuse switchboard for the building to turn the lift power on first.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes.
What is it? Let's search the building. When we find Torvik, we must choose our moment to strike. He will be heavily guarded.
Siska, be careful. I cannot scout ahead anymore. The guards will shoot on sight if they find either of us in the offices. I'm not your servant.
They'll never win.
I'm not your servant.
What is it?
Large, unlabeled images adorn the office walls. One shows the apparent damage from a natural disaster, the collapsed chaos of shattered brick and twisted metal. Another displays the components of a dismantled rifle. On the opposite wall, a third image portrays a pack of alpine wolves tearing a young stag to pieces, its bloodstains frozen in the snow.
What is it?
We don't have much time.
The clatter of a typewriter can be heard coming from one of the small, poorly lit offices. Through the half-open door, Siska and Moritz can discern the haggard but familiar face.
Ignaz! What the hell are...
Siska, welcome. I wondered if we'd ever meet again.
Torvik told us they'd apprehended you in Gorizia. I assumed you'd be...
Dead. Believe me, when they found me, I would have gladly chosen death.
Moritz told me what you did to his father.
Ah, yes, that's it. I thought I recognized the young man. I guess you're the one who was trying to sell those stolen plans to the newspapers. How naively you overvalued my reputation. It was nothing personal to you or your family. I made logical decisions. It was not for me to arrest the suffering of the world.
You were one of the few who could have helped. You chose not to.
A dangerous precedent would have been set. What happens next time a clerk gets sick? I must take responsibility for everybody?
No one asked you to do more than you could, Ignaz. You didn't seem so detached when it was you who needed help from Siska and Wild.
We don't have time to debate old grudges. Does any of it matter now? Nobody lives without being broken a little bit. We must hurry. Ignaz, where is Torvik?
He is normally here. A very clever man, good with ideas. But you won't find him today. They are all in Bet Arkady, preparing for the coronation. 3 new members will be raised.
Bet Arkady?
Bet Arkady is in the Tyrols. It sits off the northern end of the Bargantian Pass. I've heard it's truly awe-inspiring. Authority cut directly into stone and rock. I suspect your intentions are not pure when it comes to Torvik. That's okay, many start like that. You will come around eventually.
Ignaz becomes distracted by his papers mid-sentence. He looks to be at work on a poster that reads, "Only alone, alive." Within seconds, he is once again immersed, poring obsessively over his designs.
Yes.
What is it?
We don't have much time.
A merciless wind batters the streets. There is no kindness in these elements. Siska gauges Moritz's expression for a hint of his inner deliberations. What motivated him to take these risks with his life? If he had anything to lose, would he still be so committed to such a cause? Wordlessly, she turns into the gale. She would go to Bet Arkady. The wind momentarily subsides. In the transient silence, she hears her footsteps kissing the pavement, determined and sure, betraying none of the fear which has become normal for her.